at the heart of things, etc. Talk about entrance. Actually, it's quite ironic, to be honest, seeing the number of guzzlers entering here in our climate summit. Remember, the president came in earlier on, way earlier, and he was driving himself. You remember yesterday's car that he drove? Yes, the same car he drove himself in today earlier on. But after that, we've seen delegates after delegates coming in for the climate summit. Remember, of priority here, first of all, is the issue of security. As you can see right there at the entrance, our security forces are very proactive to make sure that those who are supposed to go in are allowed in. And if at all you're not allowed in, or you're not supposed to be here, then you will be kept at bay. So security is critical, considering you're dealing with over 20 heads of state. And this can be quite a security, I wouldn't call it nightmare, but you know, the magnitude of it, it's unseen when you have so many heads of state in one function. Remember, Aseto, even as we talk about how the weather is chilly, it's important for us to remember the driving green growth and climate finance solutions for Africa and the world is the theme for this particular summit. And critical will be how to finance climate solutions and resolutions for the African continent, not only from Africans themselves, but also from world all over. When you look at Africa's contribution towards emissions in the world, it's close to between 2 and 3%, which is quite small. But we are the people who are suffering the most from the impact of climate change. So it will be an interesting discussion to see how we can balance and find a sweet spot where Africa can be able to mitigate some of these challenges that is not contributing to majorly, but a huge array of investment opportunities when it comes to matters to do with climate finance. Now, on the other side, we have the registration and accreditation, and in a normal fashion, we still have people registering and being accredited to come in. The line is quite lengthy. As I said, later on, we'll be going and speaking to these particular individuals why they didn't register on time. But we have a sizable number of people who have not yet gotten their accreditation to enter into the Africa Climate Summit 2023, where everyone wants actually to be. Right here, we have a deployment of over 4,000 security personnel. Talk about GSU, talk about, you know, normal police forces, also the Kenya Defense Forces are very present here. But what we are seeing is that we have a lot of, the traditional cars that we are used to. I was expecting here maybe to see more electric cars, but I mean, it's a work in progress, etc. when you talk about adopting climate smart resolutions, and this will be critical when it comes to some of the agenda, because bottom line, we will be expecting that the declaration, the Nairobi declaration, will be made after this summit. That is on the 6th, and that will shape and set, the foundation on how Africa will tackle the issue of climate in the country. But as it stands, we have blocked roads to make sure that our movement is smooth here. Our delegates are having it easy, and registration going at the same time, but still people coming in. Remember, our president is a keeper of time, so he was here very early at around 17 minutes past 8. He came in an electric car, drove himself in. So that will be interesting to see how these deliberations go by Aseto. But the latest from here is that people are still coming in. Remember, it's the Africa Climate Summit 2023. And Aseto, just to remind you, we have a very good quote from one of the leaders on this continent, the late Nelson Madiba Mandela. And he said, we cannot afford to wait for others to stand for our environment, as nobody stands to lose more than we do. That is the continent of Africa. It is our duty to be proactive in the battle to protect Africa's natural environment, and that is a critical pillar when it comes to this Africa Climate Summit 2023. It is Africa putting its foot down and saying that we have to do something as a continent for Africa, for Africa's future, Aseto. But this is the entrance. A lot of red plates, Aseto, as you can see. International community very actively participating here. We have quite a sizable delegation. Actually a huge number, almost 20,000, between 20 and 30,000 delegates expected to be attending this 3-day summit. And that will be critical because it's all over the world. Over 20,000 delegates from 136 countries. So we have the world right here at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, setting the foundations of Africa's way of tackling climate change in the country. But that's the latest from the ground, Aseto. That's where we are, and we'll be sure to update you as minute and second passes by. But it is the S2023, and KTN News is the place to be for this coverage. Back to you, Aseto.
Well, thank you very much, Noah.